This YCN segment is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Lake Sunapee in Newberry Harbor.
Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide. We move over to the hardwood. The Celtics, after going their big winning streak and then kind of coming back to earth, they're back on fire, winning 3 in a row, 5 out of their last 6, and their last game over the Bucks. Huge game, really. Tatum and Horford. Obviously, Irving continues to So this isn't like, hey, it was the first 15 games and teams are just getting used to this offense. Right. This offense is slowly getting better. The defense is for real. This team, I think they have the best record in the NBA, or at least in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
This team's obviously for real.
Yeah, I think the 16-game win streak might have been a little too much for this kind of new team, but yeah, they're definitely for real. I mean, I think they're going to be right there with the Cavs come the end of the season. And yeah, after that Gordon Hayward injury, I think it might turn into a pretty good thing because guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are getting a ton of extra minutes. And they're getting a ton of experience, and you can see them just getting better. It seems like almost every game.
I know, right, yeah.
So, that Gordon Hayward injury, it seemed devastating, but right now, the best record in the NBA, I mean, who would have thought, right? It's crazy.
Right, and I know we've talked about this before, but how underrated is Al Horford?
Yeah.
I mean, a guy who last year we talked about, he never really seemed to fit in for the first 3 quarters of the year.
Right.
Then finally he played well, and in the playoffs he played really well.
Yep.
And now this year coming back, I don't know if it's... He was never the number one scoring option because it was always Isaiah. So it's not as if he doesn't have to be the number one guy. Maybe it's just he's got more pieces around him. He's just more comfortable.
Yep.
But this guy is, he is legitimately, he's not going to be an MVP because he doesn't put up the crazy numbers.
Right.
But he's having a great season, even to his standards.
Yeah, last year people called him Average Al, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's making a ton of money, and what he was doing last year just didn't really live up to that contract. And this year, he looks like a completely different player, and I think Kyrie Irving has definitely made him better. You see the two of them score on a ton of plays. I would like to see the percent of when those two are engaged on a basket, the percent of the points total scored. It's probably around 50%.
Right, probably half of them,
It seems like they're scoring and going off of each other all the time. I mean, it seems like these two guys have played together for years.
Right.
I mean, it seems like a great fit. And Kyrie really looks, he kind of looks free to do whatever he wants. I mean, no one on this team is really going to challenge him. Horford is really the only veteran. And he's just a mature player who's going to let anybody else step up when they want to. So it seems like a great fit. This team is really gelling. It's great.
And it seems like they have a pretty, I don't want to say easy schedule, but the schedule in the East, as we know, isn't crazy. They play the Mavericks on Wednesday night tonight.
Right.
So that's their last home game for a while. Should get that win. Then they go on the road. This is a 3-game road trip that you can't get tripped up on at San Antonio, at Detroit, and then at Chicago. Now, Chicago probably, one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in basketball right now. Probably won't have a problem with that. But in San Antonio and Detroit, they need to get a split of those two. It'll be a good test to see how they stack up on the road.
Yeah, I think those will definitely be 2 big games. We saw them lose to the Pistons was about a week ago.
Yeah.
And Avery Bradley leading that team, and Andre Drummond had a huge game for the Pistons. So those are definitely going to be 2 huge games. I could see them beating the Spurs, but that matchup against the Pistons is tough. They didn't really seem to have an answer for Drummond. He pulled down like 22 rebounds that game.
He's a big guy, and usually the Celtics have the advantage in rebounds.
Right.
But that one wasn't quite the case.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the case. I think the Pistons, it's a bad matchup for the Celtics. I think they're going to struggle in that game, but I could see them having a good game against the Spurs, definitely.
And they beat the Spurs earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
It was like their 3rd game of the season, or 4th of the winning streak. I think the Celtics at home, they came back home. They lost their 2nd game of the season against the Bucks. Then they went on their winning streak, and I think one of those games was against the Spurs. So they played them. Kawhi Leonard's not there. I know he's not healthy, but still, when you play the Spurs, anybody out west, a big win is important. So another team out west, the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, out for now sounds like 2 weeks. Sounds like a pretty severe ankle injury, and he's that guy. He needs to have his ankles 100%.
Oh yeah.
Is this, not to say the beginning of the end, because it's a long basketball season, but we've seen the Warriors have some struggles.
Yeah.
Now he's out. Durant's he's talking trash. He's getting thrown out. This team isn't unraveling. I'm not going to push the panic button, but it shows how easy it is to come back to earth after having 3 great seasons.
Right. I think the Warriors definitely have a bit of a target on their back right now, and that's definitely going to be frustrating for them.
Right.
I think Durant, really with Curry or not, I think Durant arguably is the best player in all the NBA. So I think he could really carry that team. When they played the Celtics earlier this year, it was Thompson, Curry, Durant, and was it Draymond Green? The three of them shot the lowest they've shot when all four have been healthy and playing. So that was kind of weird. I think the Warriors will be better going forward this season. I think right now they're just struggling a little bit. Yeah. But as they get going, they'll start to win some more games and get some more.
But confidence. It just shows how hard it is, when they win 70 games and they're undefeated and they have these really long streaks. So it always comes back. Teams, like you said, Golden State has a target on their back. And so it's a long NBA season, so lots to go in that season. We'll take our final break. When we come back, we'll talk some college football. Obviously, the bowl's announced, the playoffs are announced, and we'll make our Salt Hill Pub picks of the week. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.